Now it's time for our constituency surgery, where we talk about an issue that an MP and their constituents are working on together for change. Joining me in the studio is Tonia Antoninazzi, Labour MP for the Gower, and her constituent Claire Anna Mitchell, who's been working to get vital medicines into Ukraine. So, Claire, let's start with you, the constituent. How did the two of you come to work together?
We started. I was collecting aid for a church in Neath, which is a little bit out of Swansea, and it snowballed. People were very, very generous. It went a bit bonkers. So the first contact I had with Tonia was that I just said, "Can you share this on social media for me?" And yeah, so that was our very first connection on the appeal.
And Tonia, you remember first meeting Claire and...
Yeah. I mean, Gloria, it's been amazing, the work that Claire Anna has done in the, not just in Gower, but across South Wales. And, as she said, it snowballed because people wanted to help the people in Ukraine. We wanted to get aid out there as quickly as possible. And Claire Anna was introduced to me, who just an absolute, dynamo, really, an absolute dynamo, wanting to get, medical supplies and aid out there and collecting. And so we use social media platforms in order to, really push out there the great work that Claire Anna was doing and is doing.
Claire Anna, tell me about the sort of medical supplies that are needed and why they're so vital.
OK, so mainly we have been concentrating on IFAC kits, which is individual first aid kits. So it's sort of military-grade medical kits for soldiers. So the people we've been supporting out there have been civilian battalions. So the Ukrainian army have got stuff, kind of. Right. But the civilians, they've literally been given a gun and said, off you go, go and fight. They've got their trainers and jeans on, and no protective gear, no medical equipment, so tourniquets, there's really bandages, chest seals. I mean, it's awful, thinking that we've been purchasing chest seals for someone who's getting shot. But it's absolutely vital, life-saving equipment. We've had letters back from the battalions because we hand-deliver them to the battalions. We've had letters, weekly saying, "This saved 3 men in my battalion this week."
Really?
And I mean, we don't do it for that, obviously, but to know that it's working. And the sad thing is that we're needed. We shouldn't be needed, but we are needed. And
so just talk me through this process, because as Tonia says, you're a dynamo. So
you
have this idea,
sure.
Which is to get medical supplies into Ukraine. How do you go from that idea to what's the journey to getting them into the Ukraine? How do you do it? What's the process?
There was a little bit of a hiccup, actually, in which Tonia helped me with. That was my second contact with Tonia, is we couldn't get things through customs to begin with. We hadn't taken the trucks there at that time, but we were foreseeing the issue that they needed everything to be itemised and coded. And, you have something paracetamol from Asda, one from Aldi, it's going to have different codes. Right. So to do all of that, we wouldn't have the manpower, we wouldn't have the machinery to do that. And if you saw the church and my house was just jam-packed full of all of this kit. So yeah, we had to overcome that issue in customs. So I spoke to Tonia, I spoke to Rebecca Evans, I spoke to a few different politicians and councillors, local councillors as well, who helped push in Westminster them to change the policy. To try and get get the aid through easier.
And this is one of the reasons why we do these constituency surgeries, because actually it probably inspires other people to get in touch with their MPs. Yeah. I wouldn't say MPs have a magic wand, but my goodness, having those 2 letters after your name can really get things moving. Just tell us how you were able to support Claire's work.
She has a magic wand.
But it is a bit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not miracle workers, we're MPs, but it's having that, those parliamentary levers to be able to raise issues in Parliament. And it is Never Surrender, the group that has evolved thanks to people like Claire Anna, and it's that work that's being done. Claire Anna came to me on the third occasion and was really, really key, so concerned about the drivers that were very close to Dnipro and the stores that had been destroyed by bombing, and that was why I stood up in Parliament and asked for a meeting. So we are now due to have a meeting with James Heapy to discuss the support that the MOD can give to never surrender and to get those medical supplies safely out to where they need to be in Ukraine.
And where next for the campaign for you? Or where next for the sort of on-the-ground work that you're doing?
Well, this is the problem. The donations from the public have dried up. You know, people have got war fatigue. People have donation fatigue. That happens. It's understandable. It's to be expected. But, so, yeah, we do need to sort of gather stuff from elsewhere now. We've tried, you know, fundraising and whatnot, and it's a no-go. It's just stopped now. So we do have to try and, well, firstly, when we meet James, hopefully...
You're both going to meet the minister?
Oh, wait for it, James. If you're watching, watch out. You know, like, I'm very, very excited about that.
Have you got a date yet?
No, we are waiting for confirmation.
But you've got confirmation that he's going to meet with you. And so you're going, your MP and the constituent, going to meet the minister.
And some other members of Never Surrender, hopefully, to...
Just tell us a bit about Never Surrender.
So, yeah, Never Surrender. So it's a kind of group of us, like co-founders. There's like 6 of us. Most of them are businessmen from England. We've got 2 Ukrainian businessmen as well on board. They're brilliant. And we're all fighting for exactly the same thing. But yeah, what we're going to ask James for is to hopefully open up his old military stores to give us any sort of out-of-date equipment that is obviously non-lethal, but anything that is out-of-date for British military standards. And yeah, because, you know, things may be gathering dust and we want them. And these people, it doesn't matter if they've got a Cat 20K that's a Generation 5 when ours is a Generation 7, you know, they haven't got anything. They will work with this. So, I mean, they need everything. So that's one thing we're doing. The other thing is that we're going to try and get some corporate sponsors, you know, so we can get some regular sponsorship. And we've got some sponsorship packages in place. So we've got a few ideas, but come on, James, we need your help. They really need your help. It's a desperate situation over there. And I think being off the news now, it's...
well, we've brought you. We've brought your campaign to the nation's attention set. And it's been really nice to meet a human dynamo and show why it is always worth getting in touch with your MP if you've got a cause to champion.
Amazing.
Tonya and Claire Anna, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.